think, man, they have been putting in work into specific strategies. And if we see like what we saw in game number 1, I'm excited to see what they have in store for us.
I think for Trick, this wasn't a wake-up call. Think about what's going on here. You have a team that has not won a single match the entire season. Then one day they all of a sudden win against the Playing Ducks. They're super happy. Even they themselves are, I don't want to say surprised by it, but they're relieved that it finally happened. And it was shocking to a lot of people. So you go up against these guys. And of course, what's in your head? It's an easy game. Of course, you want to take it serious, but at the same time, there's always in the back of your head this thing, hey, it's beGenius. They haven't really won anything. They got lucky against the Ducks. And this is the wake-up call. Because this is really them realizing, wait a second, yes, that might be the team at the end of the standings, but they are all of a sudden fighting with a new-found team spirit that we have to beat first. We can't take this lightly because they are a lot stronger than we expected. So that wake-up call is something that has to shake Trick up now going into game number 2.
And one has to wonder, I feel like Trick Esport is a team that when their mentality is on point, they're on point as a team. They follow up, they work together, they have the best shot calling they can possibly have. And it was pretty noticeable in the last couple of weeks when we were in the same meta. But with this meta shifting here, is Trick Esport at a spot where they feel comfortable with their playstyle?
Think about how direct Alex is to criticize his own play and criticize mistakes that they made. You can definitely be sure that after this game, he addressed that also very vocally in comms and said, guys, what the hell is going on here? Could we please focus? I don't want to lose this game. We want to make sure we have a good position for the playoffs. So they are going to come into this one pumped. But beGenius, they're in the lead.
Yeah.
And that is not something they're used to do.
When you have nothing to lose as a team and you come together, that's the best feeling in the world.
It's awesome, isn't it?
It's the best feeling in the world to be able to start earning victories and continue that trend. Now, beGenius, again, already knowing they're in the Crucibles, all they have to do here is play strategies that they've worked towards and just look to get a couple wins here and there while they prepare for that big week.
And people are cheering for them. It's the underdog story. The underdog that finally got the first victory against the Ducks. Now they're playing against Trick, and people are sitting there saying like, oh my god, I want this to happen again. And they have so much momentum for them. They are happy, they enjoy what they're doing here. They are going to the Crucible, they know that already. It's an accepted fact. There is nothing on the line, no pressure. They can just play their heart out, can have fun, can try new things, can say, we need this experience here. Let's show that we are way better than everybody thinks, because yes, we had a rough season, we had a bad season, but we finally found our rhythm.
Yeah, it's all about improving for them. I mean, nobody is sitting at home saying, watch out, Fnatic, beGenius is coming for you. Watch out, Dignitas. We'll just watch beGenius here as they continue to play the way they want to. We're going to get a variant into a gray main, which means they get their engage they want to, and they have pretty solid damage. Trick Esport will answer back with Arthas and Dahaka.
And that's already a completely different strategy that beGenius is showing here. Now we saw again Gul'dan banned out, since Gul'dan has that massive impact with the Horrify, and it's also of course great for laning. But we have Trick getting rid of the Abathur. This is a bit because we saw in the past beGenius play with the hero. He can be quite annoying on this map too. But the first 2 picks that we see from beGenius are already showing a very different idea. The last idea, as we said, was stay alive until 20, reach 20 with the Zebo, capitalize on his power spike. Now they're saying variant for the hard engage, gray main for the damage on the single target. So that's already completely different from what beGenius was trying to do on the first map. So a completely different strategy. And I'm personally very curious to see what they do with the rest of the draft. I would love to see a little bit more lockdown on the target, and if they really try to go for the blow-up strategy, then they need to have a bit more on-point damage. But they need to also now show us that they can play this style as well.
I also kind of want to see a resurgence of Li Ming here from beGenius. We saw a lot of it in the future or in the past there from the team. Now, of course, they've walked away from the future. I'm a fortune teller.
If you can teach me that trick, I would be really grateful. I would appreciate that a lot.
Yeah, for next weekend, I'll show you the way to look into the future. However,
okay,
we have
I'm going to buy my lottery tickets.
Kirva has played Li Ming in the past, and he's a solid Li Ming. And this is a composition that I see set up for Li Ming to be successful, especially here on Sky Temple. Gray main engage, you have variant start up with the fight, you have the damage for the setup already, you have research potential already, you have false set Arthas and Dahaka on the right side, and she gives some control around the boss fight with Poke. So this could be something that we could see here from beGenius.
I'm shocked that you're not throwing the all-in version with Chromie into the mix here.
Not for
Is that too much for you even?
Not for Kirva. Kirva, while I like him and he's continuing to grow as a player, he's missing some moments here, like that false stat. I'm a little disappointed in some of the plays last game.
Continue to grow as a player.
He's growing as a player. He's getting there, man. Chromie, he's not ready for the Chromie level. Chromie's up here. Li Ming's down here, you know.
This is, by the way, a prime example of Trixler dissing someone and doing it in a way that is very PC.
I'm not dissing. if you have a critical moment where you criticize somebody, you're suddenly being BM. All right, man. Whatever, dude.
You need to grow as a player.
Yeah, it's gonna grow as a player a little bit, man. Like there's some moments to learn. It's all about the knowledge.
That's a new line that I have to remember for Hero League.
He's not ready for the Chromester, dude. Arthas to Hawk on the right side, Malfurion being picked up here for it. But it's not that funny. It's really not.
It's really funny.
Okay. If you say so. Zeratul has been banned out. Zeratul making sense here for HGC Esport. They don't want to have any setup potential, but also isolation is pretty important here. If you get isolation against the back line and you can focus down on Arthas, especially with a gray main, you can be pretty devastating. Go ahead.
Okay. So, there's your Li Ming.
Thank you.
There's your Li Ming.
Thank you, Kirvois. That's what I wanted here, man. Because Kirvois, after my his Li Ming play is actually stellar. It was actually some of the moments in the first couple of weeks where we're like, okay, this is something you can build upon. When he actually plays on point with Li Ming, and when he gets that hero and he's allowed to just do whatever he wants, he can be exciting to watch. So this is good for beGenius.
Yep. So Kirvois can show some personal growth in the next game now. We have definitely a great setup for him. And Varian can set any kind of kills up for combos with Li Ming, Malfurion roots, and Greymane could even add to that by simply going for the Cursed Bullet now. So he doesn't have to go necessarily go for the throw. There's of course a couple of ways how you can play this. You can either argue Li Ming is going to get the pokes in. Once the targets are low, Greymane would go for the throw, finishes them off, and Li Ming gets the resets. Or you're simply attempting to get quick kills against individual targets that Varian sets up. So Varian goes in, starts taunting, Greymane immediately Curse Bullets, and then Li Ming comes in with the rest of the damage, and Greymane can finish it off. You get the reset, you have a 5 versus 4 going, and you go into the snowball comp. This is, by the way, also the type of composition that we have seen beGenius play when they're playing in the qualifier. They were always trying to go for these bus driver comps where you just like get snowball momentum, you drive over the opponent. So that's something that Trick Esport has to watch out for. They themselves run a double global. On Sky Temple, they're also trying, of course, to play around the opponent now and to abuse the fact a bit that there is no global mobility on the side of beGenius up to this point.
Run them over with the diesel engine. Now we need a fit pick here for beGenius. Wouldn't mind to see a little bit more control. Even a second warrior could be good here for beGenius. Someone to rotate around and keep them alive in the play here. Dahaka has already been picked up, so you can't move into that route, but a Nubarak is still sitting available on the table here. And a Nubarak Cocoon could give them the isolation they want there to get that blow-up composition available, especially with Twilight Dream being on Arthas.
Yeah. And think quickly about the ban on Uther and the pick up on Rhaegar. Not really a hero that we see all that often at Rhaegar. And the ban on Uther also. And the whole concept of this is really that beGenius says, we have a composition that is targeted to blow one target to pieces. What can destroy this? A Divine Shield. So they want to make sure that there's no Divine Shield against them. And on the same note, Tricked is saying, hey guys, we understand what they're doing here. We need a heavy burst heal, and Ancestral is as good as it gets right now. So they are saying Rhaegar needs to have the cleanse ready, he needs to have the Ancestral ready, we need to save the target. And at that point, we then see the ETC to round the composition up, have a second frontliner here. I could have seen them maybe even with a Muradin in the setup, since they played them in the past, also trying to just get another stun in, but ETC, of course, having that pseudo-global available to him. If they are feeling, hey, we're going up against a double global, we need some kind of mobility here. Maybe the stage dive is the answer, and if not, we can always fall back to the mosh pit, which is just putting an additional threat on the opponent. Yep,
you get the power slide in too, so you can follow up your Variant who clicks in, gets the slow, the power slide goes in, there's the isolation you're wanting. ETC again, this is the reworked ETC as we are on the Genji patch, so you'll be seeing him get armor instead of actually attack speed to his teammates, so he gets armor individually for every rotation of skills or abilities that he uses. So he can be quite tanky, but he has to be on point with his movements. We'll see if they can handle the pressure of Trick Esport over here, who has Vala, and Crosby playing that Vala is pretty phenomenal in itself.
Yeah, definitely the Vala play here is going to definitely be on point, but I'm more so looking even towards the globals, as we said. With the double global, that's usually your biggest thing. You try to out-rotate your opponent. Yeah. But I enjoy a lot what beGenius is doing. These drafts are starting to make sense. 2 weeks ago, I was incredibly frustrated watching them draft because there was just no idea behind it. It seemed like whatever they were trying to do, it didn't work out. They had a solo tank in Ubarax with Cocoon that just pushed their head out and immediately were just knocked down again, had to always retreat, so they didn't even have a front line, basically. And right now, all of a sudden, clean ideas, crisp drafting, one goal that you have in the draft. If it works out or not, that's a different question. But they are ahead in the series, and they are looking so much better here today than they did in the past.
Let's see if they can continue the lead here as we go into game number 2. We are going to Sky Temple. Trick Esport hoping to tie up the series.
I would prepare for your
Game number 2 and Trick Esports. Was it the wake-up call they needed on the first map as beGenius took them down? The French team to the left, they want to take them on once again. Here on Sky Temple with another win. Danatan on ETC, Tank for the win on Varian. Unstable on Malfurion. We see Li Ming played by Kirva. And Arcane on Greymane.
To the far right, Trick Esport in the red. Nape will be showing off his Rhaegar gameplay. Alex Aproji back on his Bay Arthas. We're going to have Crosby playing the Vala. Going to have Falstad played by Eternal. And last but not least, Rimmer on the Hagen.
This is going to be a really interesting one right now, since Trick has, of course, some pressure on them after the loss on the first map. This is not what they signed up for in their mind. beGenius is happy to play the underdog role at this point and says, hey guys, we can still make this work. And they're already setting up a bit of aggression down to the bot lane, where with the trap they are hoping for an early kill. But so far, nobody on the side of the red team has taken the solo lane position.
Nobody has. Kirvo playing safe, knowing that the eye has been cleared out for Vision. Nobody showing up on the bottom lane. Kirvo not leaving this gate quite yet. Alex Aproji charges forward, and we will start with the turret race as it begins here. ETC Greymane are Malfurion themselves working on clearing out the lane to set up that bottom.
Yeah, the bottom lane is actually something that concerns me a little bit. They're trying to go for the Haka. Can they get the kill? That would be an important one, but I don't think they will be able to make it work. They could have gone for the tower instead, and they didn't do this. So Trick gets ahead quite heavily by taking down 2 of the structures. That helps them not only in experience, but it also gives them a very good lead when we're talking about that top temple, so they can aim to drop the fort right away.
Arcane working on that side here. Remember, we'll delay as long as we can here by bringing out the drag. Arthas and crew have started an aggressive push from the top as they are looking to grab the fort. Varian realizing that Kirvo can't quite hold it by himself on that Li Ming will rotate in to help while the rest of the crew just head to the middle lane.
Now the top temple would deliver the fort into the hands of Trick, so they would take that down. The problem really is that down to the bottom of the map we are having an issue with that well. The wall is open, so this could actually be a kill against the fountain, and if that happens, the next temple phase is going to be starting with an advantage for beGenius, since they themselves still have lane sustain.
Fort will die here from the temple be ground on the top. Good play here by Trick Esport as they continue to keep up with that trend here. beGenius in the middle, floating around, realizing with the threat of globals, they're going to stay near to their teammates. Kirvo is on the top left, and Greymane has moved into the middle. The Haka not showing himself quite yet. Finally, he shows in the bottom, so Greymane will go down to match him, and Varian seems to have that entire shrine, that temple, under control.
Yeah, we have an even split on the temples between the two teams now. The keep, or the fort at the top lane, has been taken down, and that is an advantage for Trick, and it also means that a potential night camp that they could take would pressure the keep front immediately up at the top. Down to the bottom, as I said a bit earlier, though, it's really all about the well. Can beGenius take down the fountain, yes or no?
Always the question. Let's see if beGenius moves in to clear it up. Trick Esport taking the advantage of the globals, and beGenius hanging out back home. They are moving in and getting aggressive on the Giants and such. The only hero with personal growth is Avatar Muradin. Thank you.
He has a good point. He has a really good point there.
He does.
I'm thinking about a second and I can't... Well, you could argue Sonya.
I mean, you could also argue that Rhaegar gives everyone the possibility to grow with Bloodlust, but hang on here. Danatan charges in. Alex Aproji being focused down, and he falls. beGenius gets a kill. Danatan low. He gets picked off by actually the Giants coming in with the last attack.
It's a trade, 1-for-1, the Giants with the kill indeed, already up to the top lane, Haka. And this is where what we've been talking about earlier. The big advantage of Trick with this particular setup here. They have the globals, and that's what they're trying to utilize. Even Hazorbs here, tweeting in, that ending looks like the role swap in beGenius pays off. Major tank on main tank and a Danatan on melee assassin looks much better than before. I couldn't agree more. beGenius is looking so much better than they did in previous weeks.
I mean, I like to take this moment here to fanboy about Europe and how even Team 1 all the way down to Team 8, they care about each other as players. Schwimpy even said last week, I believe, you know, look at this team, beGenius. This is a team going to a Crucible because they were impressed with their play last week after the role swap, and Hazorbs echoing that fact with that tweet, even the top teams respect and care enough about the lower tier teams that they talk about them. And to me, that's incredibly humbling and awesome to see.
Yeah.
I love that about Europe.
Splendor was saying the same thing. It's just look at what's happening here. This is a team that goes to the Crucible because all of a sudden beGenius started to step up. And of course for them it's a bit disappointing that it happened so late in the season, but still, they are making a good showing here. Obviously we're still only in the second game. They haven't won the series yet. It's just so fantastic to see them finally play to their potential. Right now, already they engage here at the side. We have Tank for the win, moving in. Keep in mind that their power spike comes on 10 when they can set their combo off, but already they are aggressive as Remaballer moves in and attempts to go for a quick drag, but ETC is able to push him away.
Very on low on health there. Will get healed up there by Unstable. Kirbo coming in with the orb, does connect on the Giant. Remember, we'll dodge it there with his own burrow. Danatan looking for an engage, and with two big, massive tanks here, Kirbo and Danatan setting up for their movements. We're going to see beGenius take full control of this temple.
Falstad taking over the top lane. Look at this rotation with the Globals. We see a fight happening at the bot lane. Dehaka moves in, tries to battle. It doesn't work out. Trick moves back a little bit. They still have the Global available for Falstad, so he takes over the position to the top lane, guarantees them more experience, and pressures beGenius to an extent that they need to move someone top. And that's Arcane right now. So I really love how Trick is currently playing the map.
And in terms of experience, we're hanging out here around 9.5 levels between both of our teams. The fort does fall in the bottom right corner. So in terms of fort, we are even between both of our teams. beGenius now grabbing Mercs on the left side here for Giants to start pushing in that bottom, while Dehaka's looking for a pick, maybe on Varian on the bottom left. The opportunity does not present itself. Varian gets behind the wall, and Trick Esport will start pushing in with level 10.
Okay, here's the dynamic now on 10. We have Taunt available for Varian, Cursed Bullet for Greymane. So it's exactly what we said earlier. You lead with a Taunt, Greymane hits the Cursed Bullet, and you blow whatever target away. That's the idea behind this. At the same... there's the stage dive for the pseudo global as expected. But this is what Trick has to do. Trick has the Ancestral available, they have the Cleanse, they have a Rain of Vengeance, and they have the Mighty Gust. Their goal is stop the snipe. Make sure that once Varian goes in and that everybody on beGenius starts to committing their resources and their cooldowns, that you have either a Gust happening, the Ancestral coming through, or Vala stopping all of it with a Rain of Vengeance. If you can make that work, then Trick finds himself in a good spot for the fight. But that has to happen, or they fight with a man down.
beGenius has ways to handle that too. They can also have Li Ming come in with the wave of force, knock someone back, maybe hit False before he drops with the Mighty Gust, or a big flank from Malfurion with that Twilight Dream. It is a bit risky and probably not going to be seen until level 20. But Trick Esport aiming to stop that big aggressive snipe from happening. In fact, it's a snipe happening in the bottom right corner as Dehaka gets picked off.
Yeah, well, welcome to the Thunderdome, my friend. So, we have one down already, a second kill for beGenius. They get the taunt in, and then Li Ming says, well, there's my combo, enjoy, bro. So we have that kill happening, and Trick now finds himself slightly behind. Nothing too crazy just yet, but it is just a preview of what's going to come over the rest of the game.
Two temples activating in 10 seconds. We are neck and neck in terms of experience here. 11 and a half, 11 3/4, almost 12 for both of our teams. Temple now activating in the middle, and beGenius sets up pretty effectively here to hold down the first couple of shots and start applying damage to that fort. Now, remember, there's always a double globals to worry about, but now with ETC on the board, we can start to match Dehaka or Falstad and come in at any point in the fight. Stage dive is available. He comes in. They're looking at Proji. They bring out the Curse Ball. They focus him down. There's a Twilight Dream, and beGenius gets a kill.
Yep, that's exactly... This is exactly what I've been saying earlier. This is the comp. And the Mighty Gust was too late. The Ancestral didn't get in. So this is exactly the issue. This is what beGenius wants. This is beGenius' entire game plan. Get these kills and take it from there. And again, they make it happen. One more taunt, one more kill. Ancestral too late, they are 2 heroes down. Now beGenius is going for 13. This is what they are trying to do. This is exactly the same MO that you can see now all the time in those team fights. And Trick has to find a way around this, and it only works if Rhaegar is close enough to the target to drop the Ancestral and the Cleanse, and it falls at Gusts in time.
beGenius can go ahead and grab both of the temples here. I was wondering if they would go for the boss call with Mighty Gust being used in that fight, but with Arcs respawning, they didn't really want to risk it. They got the temples for free here instead, get the fort broken down, and take away the layers of defense for Trick Esports. So the top fort in the top right corner will be taken out here. And now, for the next couple of temples, we're going to start having keep damage for beGenius.
Trick is falling behind when it comes to structures on the map. That is definitely true. And they have to ask themselves one question. Do we engage in the team fights? Are we comfortable enough that we can avoid the snipe and take the team fight? Or do we try to play a game with our globals around our opponent? Are we safe enough in that setup? And just try to play the map itself. And it's getting a bit more risky for them because their biggest problem at this point with the second option that I just mentioned is simply they are already behind 2 forts. They're already behind 2 forts, so they need to take risks, and this is one of the risks they can take. Go for a boss, try to burst it down, take it from there, and beGenius, they are already looking to contest it.
Tank for the win on the left, brings up the taunt. He's moving in, he's going to stand on the point. He drops down the prayer. We're going to have the stage dive coming out. Mighty Gust being used. Barely missing out. Tank for the win will get locked off here. Tank for the win being focused on the back left side. Curse Bullet does come out. Rimmer is able to heal on up. Can Tank get out of the fight? The power slide comes out from Danatan. beGenius will survive, but the boss is pushing the bottom for Tricks.
And now the root against ETC. The drag is in, and that's the kill against Danatan. This time the combo didn't work out. They did not get the kill in. They had a lot of resources committed, but no kills. So boss pushing the bot lane, and all of a sudden Trick is building up that momentum. They identified the problem. We saw beGenius jumping in, and they said, nope, this time we're going to be able to keep them alive. Boss pushing a fort. They took one down in the middle, and now they are aiming for a wall at the keep, or could simply rotate down and meet up with the boss to push even harder.
The other side, beGenius is waiting here for the teams to spawn. They just snipe a false down. What? Big damage out from Kirvois, and he is chasing here, looking for the fight. No stage dive available for ETC. So they're not going to go ahead and chase here, as the stage dive will not be up for 15 seconds. But they get the pick, can now deal with the boss and push out the map.
They get the kill, and that was an important one. beGenius definitely showing some teeth here and some bite. Tricked, on the other hand, they went a little bit too far out. They did not really expect the Twilight to come out together with the combo on Liming. But if you look at the map, now in structures, it's more or less even. And that, again, opens the window for the globals. You can play more around your opponent again. You can, for example, set 2 heroes down to the bot lane as the shrine or the temple activates up at the top. You make sure that you push with false at the Haka bottom. And then once that someone tries to start and meet you, you jump to the top. Here's the problem with it. Vision. Vision is going to be super crucial here. So in an ideal scenario, you are trying to have 2 of their globals at the bot lane, you start pressuring. What does beGenius do? They at some point have to accept that they cannot simply take the entire temple, so they need to rotate down to the bot lane to meet the aggression, or they are losing a keep. And then the 2 globals move to the top, you take over the temple, and you get a bit ahead. So you're trying to play the map. The problem is, if you get jumped by that variant and he taunts you, there's no getting away from there. So they need to get vision first. And that's one of those things now. How much do you risk? Where do you move back? Or do you simply say, we can take the team fight, we know what they're doing, and we can stop it?
There's also, and this may be a bit more aggressive, you could put ETC in the bottom, have defense, and maybe we just have beGenius go for an aggressive play on the top wall, keeper in the top right corner. I mean, they have Greymane in that scenario. They could put out a lot of damage pretty quickly and maybe win a base trade in that scenario.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of things that come into this now. And beGenius at least going for the ETC, as you said, with the stage dive, that gives them some counterplay, because that was really the thought process here. They saw the double global, and what other heroes could they have possibly played? They could have, in theory, gone for an Illidan with a hunt. We've seen that sometimes, that you're trying to use that as a pseudo-global. There's the option of going for a Brightwing, but the more traditional way is definitely the ETC, and he offers a lot. ETC just going in and making sure that the Haka can't get the drag in, but him pushing them away, that alone is already worth a lot, and so far it's been working out for them.
Well, we'll see if it continues to work out for them. Game number 2 here, Sky Temple. We're moving in. We're going to watch beGenius as they try to get a win here on Tricked Esport and go up 2-0, but Tricked Esport is holding their own.
Tricked is definitely starting to look a bit better here, but they're still down in kills and they're down in experience. They're moving to the middle now, and 5 more seconds until the temple at the top activates. Here comes the attack again, already looking for a target. Where's Liming? Not there yet. They go for Alex. They try to drop him in. Here's the Ancestral. Immediately coming. I'm not quite sure what Danatan did there. The Ancestral is immediately out. What? Did you expect him to move to the bot? Or what exactly happened?
I'm not sure what
did
he was
I miss something
there. Maybe hit Alt-R, man. Thought he had Mosh Pit for a second there.
Maybe.
So, gonna miss out on the stage dive, which actually hurts a lot.
Is that a moment for personal growth?
That is a moment for personal growth.
Okay, just double checking.
Growth.
This on the other hand.
Oh man, he Kirvois going in with the massive combo hitting 2 people. Rimmer on the top right corner. Taunt's available in 3 seconds. Can they get Rimmer? 2, 1, taunt. No, the burrow comes out just in time, but the Kirvois
popping off completely here.
This is a hero that he does not need growth on. He does so
And
well on Li Ming.
A quick side note, everybody. No, we did not mix up the names of the teams at the top. beGenius is indeed in the lead in the series and is also rushing the core. You are definitely not wrong if you're watching this right now. So beGenius on the way to maybe a second victory. Maybe not quite just yet. The French team is moving out, but keep in mind there's still a temple up to the top. They dropped the keep already. And it looks like we are going to see them move back as it is another 5 versus 5. But at this point, still even talents. 7 kills against 2, though.
So beGenius has actually started moving in for that core. It looked like it was going to be a chase onto the core. Oh, hang on. Arthur's in trouble once again here. Chris Bullet comes out. Tank for the win, turning around. Gonna have the stage dive available too if we want to have another engage for Tank for the win. Trick Esport trying to chase him back. But the idea of pushing into that core was to get Dahaka off of that bottom lane pushing in that may have gone in and just keep everyone from Trick Esport at the back. That way beGenius can come back here and grab this temple.
Dahaka is down again, the same MO. You go in, you taunt, you drop them. Stage dive. They go for the slide and they go for Alex. Alex sacrifices himself, buys time for the rest of the team walking to the left. But this is simply a cooldown problem, what we're seeing right now. It is a 12-second cooldown that you have on the taunt. You have 30 seconds on the Cursed Bullet. Li Ming has just a normal spell time, so it's not even an ult that they have to sacrifice. And on the other side, you have high cooldowns with the Ancestral, for example. The cleanse alone is 60 seconds. So this combo that we see for beGenius can be thrown out every 30 seconds. And that is a massive, massive problem at this point for Trick.
Continues to be a problem, and beGenius now is laying it on top of Trick Esport as they hit 19 to 17. HGC in the bottom lane soaking it up. Needs to be a bit careful for a little bit here. He doesn't have stage dive for 25 seconds. beGenius grabs that top temple and gets some shots here on the keep. It will survive the push here, so 2 keeps still stand for Trick Esport, but a boss spawns in 15 seconds. If beGenius can get to 20 and they can get a pick, they have an opportunity here to start lethal.
This is so awesome to watch. It's so much fun to watch this if you just think about the history here. And Tricked, all of a sudden, in being in a spot where they're saying, what is going on here? What is happening? How does this team that didn't win anything for so long all of a sudden threaten to take the second map against us? And they are desperate. They're going for boss now. This is the only fight they can force. There's nothing else to do. beGenius has 20.5 a level. You can't afford this. So they need to go for the boss. They know that it's a bad spot to be in, but they have to do something. And this is the only fight where they are saying, guys, if we can take the boss, if we can take a fight here, we have a chance. It is desperate from them. They have the gust and they are attempting to use it to grab the boss here.
Tank for the win goes in. There goes the taunt. That's why Hill comes out, but Alex the Pro-G is dead. Mighty Gus is still up. Can Eternal land it at the perfect time here to take away the boss? Here it comes. Stage dive timing for Danatan is perfect. Power slides in. That's going to be Rimmer being focused down. The Ancestral Helling will connect. beGenius getting a second kill as the second tank will be killed off, but we have Mercs in the bottom right pushing in and the boss.
That should be game. Unless Trick can somehow miraculously defend this, and I don't see how. Gust is on cooldown. We are seeing Vala also on cooldown on the Reign of Vengeance. Cams are pushing in. We're seeing 20s at this point. They're going deep with this. They're just simply walking past the keep. Even the boss is on the way. This is beGenius walking towards the second victory in the best of 5. beGenius, the team that has only won a single best of 5 thus far in the entire season, is about to get a 2-0 lead against Trick Esports.
They get another kill, and with beGenius having nothing to lose in the HGC, they just do not lose here in their matches. They get a second victory here, 2-0 over Trick Esport.
I don't know.
I'm just happy for them, man. I mean, on the other side, I feel bad for Trick Esport. They had a few weeks where they were just on glory right now, but they just seem to be off base overall. And beGenius went back to their roots here for game number 2, and you can see how they actually qualified for the HGC. This is stuff that they pulled off in the qualifiers, and they pulled off well. And now in game number 2, they executed to a T.
Yeah, we had a couple of, I want to say, YOLO stage dives in the middle of nowhere, but that being said, the comp just looked great. We said it in the draft. It's a very different style from what they were trying to do on the first map, where it was a delay tactic to get Nazebo into play. This time they said from the start, okay, we're going to blow heroes up, and then we're going to take it from there. It worked well, and it's a very clear-cut idea what they are following with. And you could really tell that even with the Ancestrals being on point, it was just so hard. It's a cooldown game. If you have a 30-second cooldown as the longest cooldown of your comp, and the shortest cooldown to counter it is a 60-second cleanse, not even talking about Army of the Dead and, of course, about the Ancestral Healing, then you can only win out if you can disengage after the first attempt. So they go in with the taunt, they try to blow a target up. If it works, awesome. If it doesn't, move back, wait another 30 seconds, try it again. And it worked absolutely beautifully well. 12 kills against 2 says it all.
It worked so well for beGenius. They are up 2-0, and they are looking to end it for our next game. We'll be right back to see game number 3. Hopefully, Trick Esport can make it